That heavy feeling that you feel in your chest when you feel like things are falling apart, that isn't failure. That is your internal GPS recalculating because you have outgrown the current map. Welcome in, guys. This is Sunny with Sunny Healing Intuitions, continuing the journey of shifting our mindset over overall health holistically. Thank you for your support. If you are not subscribed, please do so. I am trying to get my channel to 1,000 subscribers so I can start memberships and break off into workshops and teachings that are a little outside the realm of what I've been offering already. So today we're looking at conditioned thinking over starting over. So here we have fun. I don't edit. I do have notes here, so I will be reading from something, but it's just to kind of keep me on track. So I'm kind of covering something that hits home for me right now. We have this conditioned thinking that starting over equals failure. This could be involving your workouts, like a fitness routine. Maybe you started looking at eating healthier, nurturing your body a little bit better, not looking at fad diets. We don't do that here, okay? We do things the healthy way, even if it takes longer. That's the whole point. It's all about the journey, not the destination. This could also involve school. Maybe you started over in school. It may be a little embarrassing because you're older. Maybe something with your career. I hate to say, but sometimes marriage and life, right? I mean, I've started my life over so many times, and I'm about to do the same thing. Like, I have no idea where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere. But I'm just trusting and leading from faith and from my heart, okay? And that's the point here. So the proof is not that you failed, okay? The proof is that your soul is evolving faster than your body can hold, like your old self can hold, not your body. It's growing fast. You're evolving. Your soul is allowing you to evolve and grow faster than your old self, the old frequency that you lived at, where you made decisions, how you looked at challenges, right? Maybe you cowered and you were scared and you just avoided. I mean, I've been there. That's me, right? I'm calling out what I know because I've experienced. So this is just the knowledge that, we're not failing. We're just growing. We're evolving. And sometimes that means that we have to start something new because the old way we started it doesn't hold anymore. And this is just like most of the things in our life right now. You're seeing it all over the place, right? So the hustle culture is over. Pluto's now in Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. Things are going to be a little bit more feminine led. And that doesn't mean gender. This is just our energy. We all hold masculine and feminine energy. So what the hustle culture has done is nothing but cause hitting a wall and burnout. We hustle to perform for an audience that isn't even watching. Have you ever thought about that? Like, somebody may be watching you, but it doesn't mean that they're trying to compare and live your life. I mean, if you're doing very well and people are doing that, it's time to move on from that energy, to be honest. That's a very big sign. But, we are conditioned to be scared to be vulnerable, unfortunately. And when we're scared to be vulnerable, that can make it feel like we're rebuilding from scratch. Like we failed, so now we have to start all over. I have to gain new resources and all this stuff, but it's not true. You're rebuilding from experience. This changes the whole mindset, right? You're building from experience. Now you're starting to build from some place that where you failed, okay? Where you made a mistake. And it's okay, they're all lessons. It doesn't mean, you're the only person that labels it good or bad. There's no duality. It is what it is. So what you're doing is you're bringing wisdom of the experience into the new chapter. Also, one thing I love to remind myself all the time is what other people think of me and what other people think of you is none of our business. It's none of our business. That's their perception. That's how they perceive us. That's how they judge and look at our lives. But they're not living our story. They have no clue what's going on in our lives. And even if they do know what's going on, They don't know how we feel because they're not us. They don't know how we think or how we view things because they're not us. They're not living our experience. So resetting is an actual opportunity to do the new, brand new things and break out of old paradigms. In the old hustle culture, we're taught, endless hard work equals results. But when we push through the burnout, when the burnout hits, the burnout is really the body's way of like resetting, because it's like the app has been frozen too long, right? So we have to force quit it in order to restart it. And that's what we're doing. Our body is telling us, hey, like, I'm tired. So the reset button is the only way to get the system running smoothly again. And what we need to recognize is when we hit that burnout. So what burnout can look like is chronic fatigue, depression, poor sleep, digestive issues, constant fatigue. I may have said that, I don't know. Feeling disconnected from the body and disconnected from stability. That's our root chakra. And then when our base chakra, which is the root, is off kilter, off center, out of balance, out of harmony, now it's going to start affecting our creativity, which is in our sacral. And then at that point, we start to become so unbalanced when we don't face all these things and start to recognize when we need to slow down, that our willpower is going to start to fail. The solar plexus is out of harmony. And then we start hitting here where we start feeling bad about what we're not doing. And then it starts to come here where we don't communicate to people because now we feel bad and we're ashamed and we don't want to be vulnerable and say we need help, or maybe I just need to vent it out and get it out, right? And then it just starts to go up the line and now we're disconnected entirely. And that's not a good place to be. So this is the whole purpose why I'm bringing this through, because it's very important in this hustle culture that we're trying to break out of. We're trying to bring the new paradigm. And it's here. It's just I'm trying to make sure people know that rest is not lazy. It is productive. We need to have the energy to sustain the long haul because things are just going to start picking up. And so what we need to do is just focus on the reset. The reset from rest is productive because this is allowing a refocus. It's a replenishment of our needs, and then we can reassess our goals and how we want to approach it in this new chapter. So again, it's just really important that I emphasize that it's all about the journey, not the destination. We want to enjoy the journey. So we need to be present. We need to be aware of our body's needs. That's what's going to help us to trust our gut and our heart center. This is the gut. Our actual gut is the stomach is our second heart, and our heart is our second gut. So they have to work in tandem, and it's all about the base. We have to be centered in who we are, grounded, confident. And the only way we can be confident is when we're listening to ourselves and following our intuition. And if we have digestive issues, we're not able to trust the gut. If we're not able to get sleep, we're not able to be connected to our dream space and our intuition. We're tired all the time. We have no motivation. And this is where we cause depression. So, and illnesses, by the way. That's exactly how illnesses are started. That's how they're born, is by all of this. And then when we start to go up the line, like I explained earlier, I mean, now we're in a place where we probably need to, like in our minds, we need medicine, we need therapy, we need all this stuff, when really we can help the process a lot more smoothly when we're in tune with our body and paying attention. So shifting the mindset, these are the steps that are going to help us to get there. Reflection is very important, okay? So reflection of past mistakes and successes is okay. Again, it's not good or bad. It just is. And so mistakes are lessons for growth. We want to look at it that way instead of like, oh, I failed. No, you didn't fail. You learned something. And if you're not learning something, then, I mean, maybe we need to stop, pause, and spend a little bit more time in this area, right? That's the healing process. That's like facing the shadows, that we call it, is paying attention to what comes up, dig a little bit deeper, try to digest it in the best way you can. And then, if you start to go down that loop, there's some techniques that I shared on my podcast, Beyond, or Revelation Beyond Reverence. And it's really beautiful. I share a lot of techniques there. I also share in other videos. So successes can help you to understand what went right. So if you're hitting another lesson, right, and it's kind of the same thing you've been through before, but a little different, still pay attention to what you did the last time, because that's going to help you to pinpoint the area of focus. So maybe you had a little bit of confidence and you went for this risk. And this time, it's kind of similar, but you have to tweak it a little bit, right? So this is how you can dig into that and create some plans. 1111, I love it. Next, we want to identify. So what is important to you? What are your values? So maybe before, in your old self, in career, security was super important to you. That's what you valued, was security in your life. But now your soul wants freedom, right? I mean, who doesn't want that? Especially nowadays. I mean, I know I feel like I broke free when I quit my job. But this is about getting clear on those values. So write down what you value, what's important to you, how you want to feel, what you want to build, who you want to embody. And writing this down really helps us to get clear. Really clear on our vision. So this will help you also to rewire your brain to focus in areas that you want to grow. This is like your brain's going to focus on your values over the negative. So rather than looking at things that are like, oh my gosh, the last time this happened, all this happened and everything just fell apart. That's how we stay stuck in that loop. Now we want to see it happen and go, okay, what can I do now that I did before? And what steps are going to help me to get in the right direction or back on the right path? So this is a very easy technique that you can do that is super powerful. And I say write down because since we were young, we were conditioned to write things down to remember, and it really does work. I could type all day long, but I have to write things down in order to remember them. And that's why I love my journal, because even if I do forget, I can go back and look at it. So that's super important. Next thing we want to do is create. Create your life goals that you want to work towards. Again, this is really important to write down, get clear on. Break down your life goals. So when you're starting to write these values down, what's important to you, maybe some goals or steps, break them down into micro steps, as small as you need to go. This could be as small as like sending an email. Okay, I don't know, if you're here, maybe you've been in a place where sometimes getting up and taking a shower was a fucking goal. There's been days where that was a huge goal. Sometimes just getting out the door and going for a 5-minute walk around my neighborhood was a task. We've all been there. And I mean, we're kind of in that spot now where, the things that are happening in the world, the things that are being brought to light. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. The illusions are fading. Things are being brought to the light. The reason why this is so triggering for a lot of people, and I speak about this in one of my videos, I can't remember which one, but people are being re-traumatized. Trauma survivors. People who have been abused are being re-traumatized. And I'm not just talking about in one type of abuse. I'm talking all. And so, especially us who have been healers and witches and mystics and magicians and all that in the past, the things you see in movies are not. illusions, okay? These aren't made up stories. These are things that are actually real. And we'll head there again, but we're down at the very bottom of the Kali Yuga cycle, and now we're starting to head up. But in order to head up, like the tower, everything has to crumble and fall in order to be rebuilt. And this is exactly what we're talking about here. I'm all for the system breaking down. I've been saying this for years. And everybody's always been like, oh, well, this side, this, and all of that, and I'm not trying to get political. This is not what this is about, because I don't care. I don't care about that. What I care about is the quality of my life and those around me. And I truly, truly, with all of my heart, want to help humanity in the biggest way possible. And this is where I'm starting. So what we want to do also next is focus on community, which is exactly what I've been trying to build right here. Community. Surround yourself with supportive people, man. I'm telling you, like, people who build you up, people who push you further, people who call you out on your shit. These are the people who are going to sit there and for the long haul, that will stand by your side and that will like help you to grow because they want to grow with you. They are going to be people who truly believe in you. And I am seeing it. Like, it's hard not to get emotional about it because I'm just not used to it, but I'm getting used to it. I'm drinking it all in. I'm loving getting used to this. I'm romanticizing it because it's been a long time since I romanticized anything in my life other than drinking and sitting around and waiting for something amazing to happen to me. That's why right now I'm trying to take action and building things to help other people who are aligned with my frequency and what I'm offering, right? Not everything I offer in here is going to land with everyone, but I'm not here to please everyone and to gather everyone in my circle. I'm trying to grab those who are going to support me because I'm going to support them just as much. I don't half-ass anything. And so you don't want to do that to yourself either. Build yourself with a good community, a strong community. Get a life coach. Okay, I'm an integrative soul coach. If you want to work with me, check out my website. It's in the description box below. Send me an email. We can chat. We can get to know each other for 15 minutes to see if we're a good match. Or if I don't work for you, go find someone that does. Maybe you want to find a therapist. I know sometimes that in itself makes people want therapy, right? But it's worth it. If you can find the right therapist. Oh, I see friends who have found the perfect therapist for them who have been through some serious trauma, and it is beautiful to see that because I know it helped me when I was a child, when I was stuck in my trauma in an abusive relationship. Now the next thing, final step, which is definitely not least, we want to take action. Take action on our values, our goals, those baby steps that we're talking about. Send an email. Go to the store and get that notebook, that journal, right? Get that pen. Get a pen that you like to write with. Something that feels good in your hand, right? I have a bone spur in my hand in this place, and then I've got a wrist that I've broken, but I still love to write. I still do it. I look at it as something I love to do. So do not wait to change your life. Start now. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Like I said, break down those baby steps. Set daily intentions. Maybe the night before. Write down things that you want to hit the next day. Maybe 2 or 3 things. Doesn't have to be big. And then make sure that you hit one thing on that list. So that way, if you didn't hit the rest, just be like, you know what? I got tomorrow. It's cool. Right? That's how we prioritize. That's the healthy way to prioritize without burning yourself out. So, again, it could be organizing the closet even. That's something I need to do. So the most important part of the action is following through, okay? Follow through on the action step. Each step you take is going to clear your path. So it's almost like as you're taking a step, that next step appears for your next step, and then it appears for the next one, and then all of a sudden you're starting to see that path clear, and you're like, wow, how did I get here, right? All of a sudden you're in place, and you're like, wow, that was so easy, because you've grown. It's not that hard anymore. Now that you're creating an easier way to do things, you're setting your future self up for success. That's all it takes. So just remember, reset does not erase progress. This is a chance to take what we have learned to grow and expand and break limitations. Who doesn't want that? I know I've been enjoying it. It's been so beautiful. So in closing, I want to ask, and I want you to place this in the comments, is there an area of your life that is causing a reset? And or is there one belief that you're leaving behind in this year, in this old, like back then, right? What is it? Just share that with me. I know for me it is not pushing, just like I shared. This was the whole inspiration for the video. I love to work out. I love to do weights and compound movements, as I've shared. But I also have a herniated disc. I've got hip issues. I did roller derby for 12 years. I played softball for 27. I did a lot of crazy stuff as a kid, skateboarding off ramps and all that stuff, skating down hills, having to break my fall by rolling down, instead of hitting traffic. So yeah, reckless. This is on my picture. That's what my mom called me, most of my teachers. So I had to start over. I'm doing 5 8-pound weights. Sometimes I'm doing body weight. I am not doing as many push-ups as I used to. Chaturangas are extremely difficult for me. It's extremely difficult, to be honest. Some days I wake up and I'm okay, and then there's some days where I wake up and I'm in a lot of pain. And it's my body telling me that we need to reset and start over and build our body back up. So I'm literally not just rebuilding my life. Well, soon I will be. Actually, no, I am doing that, okay? But I am literally rebuilding my body again in a different way, in a more loving, gentle, and supportive way, okay? And it feels good. I'm probably hitting perimenopause. I don't know, because I've had a hysterectomy, so we'll see. I mean, I don't have anyone around me to trigger me or do anything to piss me off, although, it still can happen. I've got neighbors and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But just remember to be kind to yourself, and just don't say that you're failing. Flip the script, okay? And just say, I'm growing. I'm outgrowing who I was, and now it's time to do things differently, and that is okay. So we are remembering our true power and creativity right now, all of us, okay? Embrace it, embody it, and you will see reality shift, I promise, in the most beautiful and magical way possible, okay? So if you've enjoyed this content, please hit a thumbs up, comment, and help me to expand my network. And until next time, I'm sending you all so much love and light.